God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, because this moment is not loud, not rushed, and not dramatic. It is gentle, intentional, and filled with meaning. If you can give just one quiet moment of your heart, not your fear, not your curiosity, but your calm attention, something peaceful will settle within you." This message is not here to overwhelm you. It is here to steady you. It is here to remind you that you are not walking alone, even when the path has felt confusing, slow, or silent. Archangel Michael speaks not with force, but with clarity. He says, "Pause for one moment, not because time is running out, but because clarity arrives only when the soul becomes still. You have been carrying many thoughts, many questions, many unspoken worries, and even hopes you stopped saying out loud. Heaven has seen all of it. Not judged it. Not rushed it. Simply seen it with compassion. There is a blessing already moving toward you, but it is not the kind that arrives suddenly and leaves you confused. It is the kind that arrives quietly and stays long enough to change how you breathe, how you think, how you trust again. Guidance is unfolding step by step, not all at once, because you are being prepared to understand it, not just receive it. You may have noticed that lately your heart has been asking softer questions. Not, "Why is this happening to me?" but, "What am I meant to learn from this?" That shift did not happen by accident. That is the sign of inner alignment. That is the soul maturing into wisdom. And heaven responds to wisdom with direction, not pressure. Archangel Michael says, "You do not need to force the next chapter. You do not need to chase answers or prove your worth. What is meant for you is already aware of you. What is meant for you is moving at a pace that protects your peace." Guidance is not always a voice telling you where to go. Sometimes it is a quiet sense of what no longer belongs. There are blessings connected to your patience. Not passive waiting, but the kind of patience that keeps your heart open even when outcomes are unclear. You have practiced that patience more than you realize. Every time you chose not to react from fear, every time you chose silence over conflict, every time you trusted instead of panicked, something in your spiritual path strengthened. This message comes to remind you that guidance often feels like reassurance before it feels like change. Peace arrives first. Understanding follows later. And action becomes clear when the timing is right. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where your growth required you to be. Archangel Michael says, "Allow yourself to receive without questioning whether you deserve it." Blessings are not rewards for perfection. They are responses to sincerity. And your sincerity has been seen in ways you cannot measure. The care you show, the effort you make quietly, the love you still carry even after disappointment, all of it has weight in the spiritual realm. There is guidance coming that will simplify things, not complicate them. It will reduce confusion, not add more choices. You will feel it as relief, not urgency. A sense of "this feels right" rather than "I must act now." That is how divine alignment feels: calm, grounded, steady. You are being guided to trust your inner sense again. To listen to what brings peace instead of what demands explanation. To move toward what feels aligned, not what looks impressive. This guidance will not pull you away from who you are. It will bring you closer to yourself. And here is something important to remember: blessings do not always look like additions. Sometimes they look like removal of doubt, of unnecessary pressure, of relationships or thoughts that drained you. When something leaves your life quietly, without chaos, that is often grace at work. Archangel Michael says, your future does not require fear to arrive. It requires faith, yes, but also rest. You are allowed to rest in the knowledge that you are supported. You are allowed to move forward gently. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "You're doing enough." This message is not meant to rush you. It is meant to steady you. To remind you that guidance is already active, blessings are already forming, and peace is not something you earn later. It is something you step into now. Take this moment. Let it settle. Let it breathe inside you. Not everything needs an answer today. But today, you can choose trust over tension, calm over control, and alignment over anxiety. And when you're ready to close this message, carry this truth with you: you are guided, you are protected, and you are not unseen. God says, now that you have slowed your spirit and allowed stillness to enter, I want you to understand something deeper that most souls never realize. Guidance does not arrive as a loud command. It arrives as alignment. It comes when your inner world begins to match the pace of heaven. And right now, something within you has softened enough to receive what was always meant for you. Archangel Michael stands close, not above you, not ahead of you, but beside you. He says you have been walking through a season where you did the right things even when no one noticed. You showed patience when frustration would have been easier. You chose understanding when reacting would have felt justified. Those choices were not small. They were seeds. And seeds always grow in silence before they grow in sight. There is guidance being formed for you that will not confuse you. It will feel natural, like remembering something you once knew but forgot. You may notice that answers are beginning to come through simple moments. A quiet thought. A repeated feeling. A sense of peace around one option and discomfort around another. That is not coincidence. That is direction without pressure. You have asked for clarity before, but what you really needed was confidence. Confidence in your intuition. Confidence in your timing. Confidence that you are not missing out just because things are moving slowly. Heaven does not rush what is meaningful. What is rushed often breaks. What is guided lasts. Archangel Michael says, you are being protected from paths that look attractive but would drain you later. Not everything that sparkles is aligned. And not everything that feels slow is wrong. Some blessings take time because they are meant to support you for years, not moments. You are not being denied. You are being refined. There is also something being healed within your sense of self-trust. At one time, you doubted your decisions because others questioned them. You second-guessed your feelings because you were taught to explain everything. But guidance does not need justification. When something is right for you, your spirit recognizes it before your mind understands it. God says, you are learning to listen again. Not to noise, not to outside voices, but to that quiet inner knowing that has never betrayed you. Every time you ignored it, life became heavier. Every time you honored it, even in small ways, peace followed. That pattern is not accidental. It is instruction. Archangel Michael reminds you that blessings are not always additions to your life. Sometimes they are simplifications. Fewer expectations. Clearer boundaries. Less emotional weight. More room to breathe. If something has been slowly falling away from you without conflict, without chaos, let it go with gratitude. It has completed its purpose. There is guidance coming that will help you choose without guilt. You do not need to carry everyone's needs ahead of your own. Compassion does not require self-abandonment. Love does not require exhaustion. You are allowed to choose what sustains you. Heaven supports balance, not burnout. You may soon feel drawn to restructure your routines, your priorities, even your environment. That urge is not random. It is alignment preparing space. When blessings arrive, they need room. Guidance clears clutter before it brings clarity. Trust the desire to simplify. Trust the pull toward order. That is your life adjusting to what is coming. Archangel Michael says, stop measuring your progress by visible results alone. Some of the most important growth you've experienced cannot be photographed or explained. It shows up in how you respond now compared to before. In how you pause instead of panic. In how you observe instead of absorb. Those changes matter more than you realize. God says, there is a gentleness returning to your spirit. Not weakness, but softness. The kind that allows you to receive without suspicion. The kind that allows joy without fear of loss. That softness is safe now. You are not as fragile as you once were. You have learned discernment. You know when to open and when to protect. Guidance will soon show itself through confirmation rather than force. Things will line up instead of push back. Conversations will flow instead of drain. Opportunities will feel right instead of urgent. When something is meant for you, it does not demand that you sacrifice your peace to obtain it. Archangel Michael says, remember this clearly, confusion is never a sign of divine guidance. Peace is. Even when the path is unknown, peace will accompany the right direction. If something brings constant anxiety, second-guessing, or inner resistance, pause. Guidance does not hurry you. It reassures you. You are stepping into a phase where your decisions will feel lighter because they are no longer rooted in fear. You are learning to move from trust instead of survival. That shift changes everything. It changes how blessings arrive. It changes how relationships form. It changes how you see yourself. God says, you do not need to become someone new to receive what is coming. You need only to remain honest with who you are becoming. Growth does not erase your past. It integrates it. Everything you've been through has prepared you to recognize alignment when it appears. Stay present. Stay open. Stay grounded. Guidance is already active around you, and blessings are already responding to your readiness. God says, now that your heart has become quiet enough to listen without fear, I want to speak to the part of you that has been carrying silent questions for a long time. Not the questions you ask others, but the ones you hold alone late at night. The ones about direction, purpose, and whether you are truly moving forward or simply enduring. Hear this clearly. Endurance itself has been part of your preparation, not a punishment. Archangel Michael stands watchfully in this moment, not as a warrior of conflict, but as a guardian of transition. He says you are not stuck between chapters, you are standing at the threshold of understanding. What once felt like delay was actually protection while your inner strength caught up to your outer desires. You have grown more than you realize. Growth does not always announce itself with success or recognition. Sometimes it appears as calm where anxiety once lived. Sometimes it shows up as discernment where confusion once ruled. Look at how you process things now compared to before. Look at how quickly you recover. Look at how deeply you reflect. Those are signs of maturity that blessings respond to. God says, guidance does not remove uncertainty all at once. It teaches you how to move even when not everything is revealed. Faith is not about knowing the outcome, it is about trusting the direction. And right now, the direction is forming within you, not outside of you. That is why external validation feels less necessary than it once did. Archangel Michael says you are learning the difference between intuition and impulse. Impulse demands immediate action. Intuition invites patience. When you wait, clarity strengthens. When you rush, doubt multiplies. Heaven is pleased that you are no longer reacting the way you once did. You pause. You listen. You choose with intention. That is alignment. There is also guidance around relationships unfolding quietly. You may notice that some connections feel lighter now, while others feel heavier without explanation. This is not judgment. This is awareness. Some bonds were meant to support a previous version of you, not the one you are becoming. Let distance happen naturally. What belongs will adjust with you. God says, stop interpreting silence as absence. Some answers arrive as inner stability rather than spoken confirmation. You are not meant to chase every sign. Some truths reveal themselves through consistency. If something brings peace repeatedly, it is guiding you. If something drains you repeatedly, it is teaching you what to release. You are learning to wait without resentment, and that shift alone is opening doors you could not have forced open before. You may feel drawn to moments of solitude lately. This is not withdrawal. This is recalibration. Silence is where guidance becomes clear because noise no longer interferes. In quiet moments, your spirit reorganizes itself. Ideas settle. Desires clarify. Fear loosens its grip. Trust grows without effort. God says, your future is not built on pressure. It is built on alignment. You are not required to exhaust yourself to deserve what is coming. Blessings respond to readiness, not struggle. You have already struggled enough. Now you are being taught how to receive without guilt. Archangel Michael says, notice how certain worries no longer control you the way they used to. That is not numbness. That is healing. When fear loses its authority, guidance becomes easier to follow. You no longer make decisions just to avoid pain. You choose paths that support peace, even if they require courage. There is a strengthening of self-respect happening within you. You are less willing to tolerate what drains you. Less willing to shrink to maintain harmony. This is not selfishness. This is self-honoring. Heaven supports this shift because it allows blessings to stay once they arrive. God says, the guidance unfolding now will not overwhelm you. It will come in layers. One understanding leading to the next. One small confirmation building into confidence. Trust the gradual nature of this process. What unfolds slowly often lasts longer than what arrives suddenly. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not behind. You are exactly where your awareness needs to be to handle what is next. If certain doors had opened earlier, you would have questioned them. Now, you will recognize them without fear. That is readiness. Pay attention to how your inner dialogue is changing. You are kinder to yourself now. You question your worth less. You recover from disappointment faster. These are not small shifts. They are the foundation that guidance builds upon. Heaven works from the inside out. God says, you are learning to trust yourself again. That trust is sacred. Guard it gently. Do not give it away to voices that do not understand your journey. Guidance speaks softly, but it speaks consistently. You will know it because it brings calm, not confusion. Archangel Michael says, remain present. Remain grounded. The next layer of blessing will arrive when your spirit fully accepts that you are allowed to move forward without carrying the weight of the past. God says, now listen slowly, not with urgency, not with expectation, but with presence, because what is being spoken now is not instruction, it is confirmation. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be before doubt interrupted your knowing. Everything you walked through did not weaken you. It refined you. And refinement is what allows blessings to remain instead of passing through. There is a calm authority settling into your spirit now. You may not call it strength, but heaven does. Strength is not loud. It does not announce itself. It shows up as steadiness when circumstances fluctuate. It shows up as restraint when reaction would be easier. It shows up as peace that does not depend on answers. That is what is forming in you right now. Archangel Michael says, this is the moment where guidance becomes embodiment. You are no longer being led step by step like before. You are being trusted with discernment. Heaven is not pulling you forward anymore, it is walking beside you. That shift alone marks a new season. When heaven walks beside you, it means you are ready to carry responsibility without fear. God says, you have learned the cost of forcing outcomes. You have also learned the cost of abandoning yourself to please others. Those lessons were not easy, but they were necessary. You are now positioned in a space where you no longer beg life to be kind to you. You choose alignment, and alignment responds naturally. There is a blessing unfolding that will not arrive dramatically, but decisively. It will feel simple, almost ordinary, yet it will change how you experience your days. It will remove unnecessary tension. It will settle something inside you that has been restless for a long time. This blessing is not meant to impress others. It is meant to stabilize you. Archangel Michael speaks of restoration that does not revisit pain to heal it. Some restoration happens quietly by replacing what was lost without reopening wounds. You will notice one day that something no longer hurts the way it used to, and you will not even remember when it stopped hurting. That is divine gentleness at work. God says, "Your patience has been seen, especially the patience you showed when no one was watching." Not the visible patience, but the inner restraint. The times you chose not to speak, not to react, not to give up even when you felt tired. Those moments mattered more than achievements. They shaped your capacity. Now hear this clearly, you are entering a phase where you will be trusted, by people, by circumstances, by life itself. Responsibility will increase, but so will ease. This is not a burden. It is expansion. You will feel more capable without feeling overwhelmed. That balance is intentional. Archangel Michael says, the reason confusion has been leaving your life slowly is because clarity is meant to stay. Sudden clarity shocks the system. Gradual clarity strengthens it. You are being strengthened, not startled. That is why this process has felt quiet instead of dramatic. God says, blessings that are guided do not rush you. They meet you where you are steady. You will not have to chase what is coming. You will recognize it because it will not demand that you compromise your peace. Anything that requires you to abandon yourself is not from heaven. There is also healing happening in how you relate to time. You are no longer racing against it. You are learning to move with it. That shift alone dissolves anxiety. You are not late. You are not early. You are aligned. And alignment creates its own rhythm. Archangel Michael reminds you that not every miracle looks like a breakthrough. Some miracles look like consistency. Like waking up without dread. Like making decisions without second-guessing yourself. Like trusting your inner voice again. These are the miracles that sustain life long-term. God says, you are allowed to expect good without bracing for disappointment. That habit of bracing was learned, not natural. You are unlearning it now. Slowly, gently, without force. Trust returns the same way it was lost, gradually. Now let this settle, nothing important is being withheld from you. What is meant for you is being prepared in a way that allows you to enjoy it without fear of loss. That is mercy. That is wisdom. That is love. Archangel Michael stands firm in this moment and says, your guidance has not ended, it has matured. You will still be led, but now from within. The voice you hear will feel familiar because it has always been there. You simply trust it now. God says, rest into this knowing. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to rush anything. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what is next. Take a breath. Let the stillness confirm what words cannot. That if this message brought clarity instead of fear, peace instead of pressure, and recognition instead of confusion, stay connected. Like this message to anchor this moment. Comment with one word that describes what you felt. Share this with someone who needs calm, not noise. Subscribe so you don't miss the next message meant to guide you, not rush you.